Won't you just come my way?
Come in.
Baby, won't you just take your time?
Okay.
I want to talk about food stamps just for a minute and the negative stigma about people who receive assistance from the county or the state or the government in general, and the different opinions from people from the outside thinking that these people are just laying on their backs and receiving assistance. These negative biases and judgments are overall completely wrong, and I kind of want to talk about it for a second from my opinion. Anybody that has ever gotten assistance or is getting assistance knows that in order to be able to qualify for assistance, you have to get screened. And in that screening, they count your income, they put it all together, count everything that you have. Literally, you have to give your hand and your toes, hair weave, eyelashes, all of that in order for them to see if you meet the qualifications to even be able to get assistance, especially if you need help. And then after you get screened and they ask you all of this stuff and you have to bring in all of this information about your life and you in general and your kids, there's a chance that you may not even get assistance at all, or they'll just simply stop assistance because they find an issue or they think you have made too much money or any of that. So I find it selfish when people feel as though their tax dollars obligate them to somebody else's life or to make an assumption as far as who does and does not and should not receive or apply for county assistance. I keep saying county and I might keep saying county, but I really mean government assistance as a whole. Yeah, that's one of those mind your effing business conversations. If you don't get assistance and you can't get assistance or don't want to apply for assistance, why is it your business that somebody else is getting assistance? Not even just getting, requesting, seeking, or applying for. There is this narrative going around about people driving fancy cars or having tablets or iPad or iPhones and how they shouldn't be able to have these things based on the fact that they need assistance from the government. People feel like if somebody needs assistance from the government of any kind, they should not have nice things, especially if they're requesting for taxpayer dollars to fund their overall upkeep. I think it is completely wrong to assume that your specific taxpayer dollars are going to government assistance or food stamps, because you pay your taxes. You do not get a printout of all the places that your taxes are going to be going to. There is no way to know if your specific taxes went to that family needing government assistance, let alone the person doing assistance fraud. And I want to get away from this thinking about committing fraud, because it definitely is a conversation that needs to be had. It is not easy to commit fraud from government assistance, food stamps, cash assistance, all of that. It's not easy to just commit fraud. And when you do commit fraud, there are some penalties to that. You will never be able to get government assistance again. And all of that money that's being taken that you're lying about, you would need to pay it back. And they will make sure that you pay it back. Not to talk of potential jail time. I had a friend that was receiving government assistance and she forgot to report the income that she was getting. Do you know that she went without assistance for a good year paying that money back? And she really needed the help. She just forgot to turn in paperwork. And I want to argue the income that she was getting was not sufficient enough that it would have made a difference anyways. They just felt a ways because she did not turn in that paperwork. So she was definitely put on some sort of pause or probation for a good year before she was able to reapply or get benefits. Now imagine something like that being as small as it is, having those penalties. Do you really think that somebody who's really committing fraud, getting a pass, you think that they're just going to let them get away with it? No. They probably are going to face a lot worse scrutiny than just a slap on the wrist. So it's not up to people to make those type of assumptions on other people's life, because you are not the tax police and you are not the government police. And this is part of the reason why people do not want to go to the government for help or for assistance or ask anybody, and rather struggle and suffer in silence. And in cases like that, most of the time, those issues build up so bad that somebody ends up committing S because they are just so frustrated and so sad and so over the fact that they're going through all of this and they have zero help. When you are receiving cash assistance, whether you are a single adult or a family, there is a restriction on it. You do not get cash assistance for your entire life. Maybe before that used to happen, but as of right now, 2022, that is not a reality. People are not just getting cash assistance off the hand forever. There is a time limit to cash assistance. Now, they will help you with food stamps as long and as much as you need it, but even that, your income has to play a part in it, among other things, to even qualify you to get food stamps. Ain't nobody just going to the county or the state or the government just assuming that they're just going to get a free pass out. Oh, I need money, and they just give you money. Because if that was the case, everybody would be going and just telling the county that they needed money. It is a procedure that's in place in order to make sure that people are accurate in requesting assistance. Now, when you get assistance, it doesn't mean that you can't file taxes. When you get assistance, it does not mean that you can't go to school and get student loans or apply for any other loans. When you get assistance or food stamps, cash assistance from the county or your government, it does not exclude you from gaining assistance from any other program. So when people say, oh, how can you pay your phone bill? Or when people say, oh, how can you afford tablets or iPads? Or when people say, how can you afford to live your life if you're getting government assistance, when there are other assistance that can help you with these things, so that way you are not hitting the poverty line or looking bad out here. There is places offering to pay your phone bill or simply a government phone. I remember I went to go look at the government phones, and honestly, I kid you not, they have a iPhone that they're giving out to people. Yes, a iPhone. So don't just assume that if somebody is gaining or having these nice things, they either had to rob Peter to pay Paul, or they had to do all of these things in order to get it. There is government issue programs, and let's just say it wasn't any government issue programs. There are programs in general to support families that do not have, for whatever they do not have, to make sure that they are living not only just a nice life, but a comfortable life where they can afford these things that others have. I think it is selfish to say that because they are applying for government assistance or government support benefits, that they do not and should not have nice things. Because that's the reason for applying for government assistance and all of these things, so that they can be able to maintain a living. They're submitting all of the things that they have, their rent, their income. They're submitting each and everything in order to gain help from the county government, and the list goes on, because they feel as though they need help. And these days, it is so complicated and hard to even just admit that you need help. Just admitting you need help is a process. Just admitting that you need somebody to step in is a process, because the world condemns you for needing assistance of any sort from anybody, especially when you have a family, especially when you are a man, because all of these pre-existing biases exist. It would be ridiculous to ask people to have compassion. No. It's above us. It would be too much to say, hey, consider that single mother. Consider that struggling father. Consider that woman that needs help. Consider, because people, they judge, they don't want to consider. It is easy to assume that people are trying to take advantage of you one way or another, but it is completely hard for you to give other people the benefit of the doubt, and that's the problem. Because it is not about the government. The government has enough resources and things put in place in order to protect their interests. It's about people judging other people. And during this pandemic, at this time, in this world, currently with what's happening around the world, we cannot afford to have these preconceived biases and overall judgments about people and individuals. In this time, with currently everything that's going on, I advise people to get the help that they need. Get the therapy that you need. Have the conversations that you need. Do not suffer in silence, and do not allow somebody else's opinion of you to form your life. That's a lie.